We usually only go once a week on Tuesdays. We're breaking our rule and coming back the next day on Wednesday because we owe Kyle Shanahan an apology, both of us. We talked about him a lot yesterday and had some very hard things to say, and we would like to revise one of those things.
Yeah, I particularly owe him an apology. I had said yesterday that he's lacking in confidence and self-assurance because he doesn't give media people one-on-one interviews. Now, by the way, I still think he should do that, and I still think it's not to his credit that he doesn't do it. And I want to remind you, Kyle, if you're watching this is very important. Years ago, when the Raiders were playing in Denver, I flew in a day early, and I met your dad, Mike, early at the facility on a Saturday. He came in, and we sat alone in his office, and I interviewed him, and we set this up. So I interviewed your dad one-on-one when he was with Denver, and he'll tell you about that, and we got along very well. In any event, I was very hard on you in the original Cohn Zohn, and I want to issue an apology. First, Iggy, why don't you set it up?
Okay, so again, what you said is he doesn't do one-on-ones with the local media. He's given a one-on-one to his friend, Chris Sims, the former quarterback who's in media now, but that doesn't count.
Doesn't count.
Okay, so what happened was yesterday, Kyle Shanahan gave his Monday press conference, the day after the game press conference. It was Tuesday. They switched it up a little bit because of the bye week and because Eric Armstead has COVID-19 or whatever. He's on the COVID-19 list. Kyle wasn't even in the facility. He was at home on his laptop taking questions. And this is the longest one he does every week. It's like a 20-minute press conference. And these days, you can't just blurt out your question. You have to press a button that says raise your hand. So I pressed the button and I waited 10 minutes, 15 minutes. They weren't calling on me. They called on everyone else 2-3 times. I wasn't getting called on. And at one point, they actually unmuted my mic and then remuted it real quick, which made me feel like there was like an edict, don't call on Grant. So in the Zoom thing that you use, there's also a chat, which the beat writers, the PR staff, and the coach, the player can see, especially if you're at home at your laptop looking at it. So I write in, can I ask a question? And a couple minutes later, I hear the PR director say, last one. And it's for Jennifer Lee Chan, who's asking her like fourth question. So I write in real sarcastically, thanks, with an exclamation point. And as the PR director is going to end the conference call, Kyle Shanahan, I can see him looking on his screen at the chat. And he goes, go ahead, Grant. I see you down there. Ask your question. Then he gives a little smirk like this. And, I freaking love him for that. I love him for that.
I do too. And Kyle, I want to praise you, and I want to apologize for being so hard on you earlier. What you did showed, I have a lot to say about this, but I'm going to try to be orderly. It showed courtesy from one professional to another, and it showed that you were doing your job correctly and were being a professional head coach. Mm-hmm. So I want to praise you for that. And it also, you didn't know what Grant was going to ask. He could have asked something very volatile, and you had the courage to take the chance. In fact, Iggy, you asked a very vanilla question. Would you tell people what it was?
Yeah, he had announced that he's hopeful that Deebo Samuel, Raheem Mostert, and Richard Sherman come back. I'm the only person on the beat who thinks the Niners have any chance to compete this year. Every question is about Jimmy Garoppolo in 2021. And I kind of wanted to write an article about this year. So I said, Kyle, how big of a boost would it be to get those three guys back? And he went on for about a minute and a half about why it is helpful, but they're not going to beat the Rams because of any of those three players. They need the rest of the guys who've been around to step up. He basically gave his whole motivational speech to the team, to us. So I appreciated the answer.
Right. So he came through and he got positive reinforcement that if he allows you to ask a question, you're not trying to sabotage him. You're trying to give him a chance to explain himself, which is what any fair-minded journalist would do and any fair-minded coach would appreciate. Yep. Now, I'm going to get into some stuff and make some judgments. I want you to sit quietly.
Okay.
I'm trying to figure out why you didn't get called on. Because, and this is going to lead to a larger issue, but I'm trying to, I think about things like this. So you didn't get called on. These are my possibilities. Because somebody in the PR staff is sore at you or doesn't like you and decided, screw Grant, I'm not going to call on him.
Yep.
That's a possibility. Mm-hmm. Another possibility is Shanahan. Oh, there were two. They ran out of time and they didn't get to you. But people had multiple questions and you didn't have any. So
Right.
I ruled that out. Another is that Shanahan either indicated offhand, boy, I'm sore at Grant this week. Although you picked him to beat the Saints, so I don't know why he'd be sore at you. But or he gave a direct message: don't call on Grant.
Sure.
And then when you weren't called on, he was embarrassed, and also he felt it because he's fundamentally maybe a good guy. He felt this is ridiculous and this is unfair. So okay. I got now. So, Kyle, I apologize for being so hard on you, and I praise you for what you did. And if I were in that virtual chat, I would have given you an attaboy because what you did is what every mature professional head coach or team manager would do.